Gil, I mean, I remember walking out and CJ, the producer of the show, he's like, Shannon, this is gonna blow up the internet.
He didn't want everything to happen immediately.
Absolutely.
Like,
It's
only Thursday.
It's instant. They want everything to instantly happen. It doesn't work like that.
The righteous people on Reddit, baby, they are dissecting and divulging right now.
The tension surrounding Shannon Sharpe is no longer just a murmur, it's a roar. What seemed like a bad run of personal and professional scandals has now spiraled into something far more sinister, with whispers that the former NFL legend, now a household name in sports commentary, may have struck a deal with the FBI, a deal that could dismantle the fortress of Sean Diddy Combs, one of the music industry's most powerful figures. It's a scandal that stretches beyond Sharpe's own legal troubles and digs into the murky depths of celebrity culture, where fame, power, and secrets collide in ways the public can barely comprehend.
We're now beginning to bring up past things that have happened with Shannon Sharpe, including a temporary restraining order that was filed against him back in 2010 from a woman that he was dealing with at the time, who accused him of sexual assault. He said in different things. Now, this was dropped. It was dismissed, that restraining order.
Let's start with Sharpe, whose legal woes are a story in themselves. The $50 million lawsuit hanging over his head is jaw-dropping in its scope, accusing him of misconduct so grave it could ruin him entirely. The plaintiff, a young woman who claims to have been in a volatile relationship with Sharpe, alleges he crossed unimaginable lines. There's even leaked audio where Sharpe, in a heated moment, is heard making threats that sound chillingly serious. His legal team has scrambled to counter these claims, arguing that the relationship was consensual and that the accusations are nothing more than a calculated shakedown. But the damage is done. The lawsuit has cracked open a door into Sharpe's private life, and what's spilling out is painting a picture far different from the charismatic, cigar-smoking personality fans thought they knew.
And that the was about handcuffs, choking, putting on dog collars. Do you get those at Petco?
And this isn't even the first time Sharpe's name has been dragged through the mud. Back in his days at FS1, he was accused of an incident with a female production assistant. Sources close to the situation claim it involved unwanted physical contact, though Sharpe's reps have dismissed it as harmless workplace banter that got blown out of proportion. Fox Sports, for its part, quietly settled the matter, reportedly handing over hundreds of thousands of dollars to make it go away. No lawsuit was filed, no headlines were made, until now. With this new lawsuit in Nevada, every skeleton in Sharpe's closet is being dragged into the light, and the timing couldn't be worse.
Shannon Sharpe says he's temporarily stepping away from ESPN in the wake of a $50 million lawsuit accusing him of rape. A woman filed suit against Sharpe on Sunday, accusing him of raping her twice.
What's truly shocking, though, is the new twist. The rumor that Sharpe has turned to the FBI not just as someone trying to clear his own name, but as a potential informant. And the target of his alleged cooperation? None other than Sean Diddy Combs. This isn't just gossip, it's a bombshell that has insiders buzzing. If true, it means Sharpe might hold the key to uncovering the dark secrets of Diddy's infamous lifestyle, the outrageous parties, the whispered allegations of manipulation, and the allegations that have already led to multiple lawsuits against the music mogul.
On Easter Sunday, a lawsuit was filed in state court in Nevada against Hall of Fame tight end Shannon Sharpe because he has become such a massive media star, especially in the past few years. The lawsuit is going to attract.
The allegations include being paraded in front of high-profile guests while wearing a leather mask, allegedly as some kind of punishment orchestrated by Diddy himself. These claims are so shocking that they've drawn attention not just to Diddy, but to the celebrities who were allegedly present at these gatherings. Names like Jay-Z, Beyonce, and LeBron James. While none of these stars have been implicated in wrongdoing, their mere presence at these events raises questions. What did they see? What did they know? And why has no one spoken out? Manzaro's lawsuit is just one of many, and it adds to an already extensive list of allegations against Diddy, including claims of coercion, exploitation, and worse. His legal team has called the accusations absurd, a desperate attempt to cash in on his fame. But with multiple victims coming forward, the narrative is becoming harder to dismiss. And now, with Sharpe allegedly stepping into the fray, the stakes have never been higher.
You know, there's a short life in
Why do you think that is with the creative side?
Well, because losing out money, you got to take you're going through so much to try and deal with life.
The connection between Sharpe and Diddy is murky but tantalizing. Rumors suggest Sharpe may have attended some of these infamous parties, and if that's true, he could be sitting on a treasure trove of information. Imagine the implications. A sports icon turned informant, testifying against a music mogul in what could become one of the biggest scandals in entertainment history. Sharpe's alleged cooperation with the FBI isn't just about saving himself. It could be the linchpin in a case that brings down an entire empire. And let's not forget the broader context. Diddy's legal troubles aren't just about him, they're about a culture of excess and entitlement that permeates the entertainment industry. His parties, often described as exclusive and glamorous, are now being recast as something far darker. These weren't just gatherings of the rich and famous. They were, according to the lawsuits, stages for manipulation and exploitation. The details are chilling, from claims of attendees being coerced into compromising situations to allegations of financial and emotional control. And if Sharpe was there, even as a bystander, his testimony could shine a light on just how deep this rabbit hole goes.
Look at Diddy, for instance. Let's take a look at him. Let's take a look at, he has videos. He has videos of the parties. Now, what I've heard, which I don't know how much of it is in mainstream media, I don't really follow the story that much, but what I've heard from friends that are attorneys, friends of mine that have represented me before, agents and so on, is there's a bidding war going on right now.
Publicly, Sharpe has remained defiant, insisting on his innocence and framing the accusations against him as baseless. But his decision to step away from ESPN suggests a man under immense pressure, a man who knows the walls are closing in. His representatives have issued carefully worded statements, but the silence on the rumors of his connection to Diddy speaks volumes. Is it possible that Sharpe, a man who built his career on being outspoken and unapologetic, is now holding back because he knows too much? And what about Diddy? For years, he's been a symbol of success, a man who turned his name into a brand and his brand into an empire. But that empire is crumbling. The lawsuits, the criminal charges, the whispers of even darker secrets, it's all catching up to him. And if Sharpe's rumored testimony becomes a reality, it could be the final blow. The FBI isn't just looking at Diddy as an individual. They're investigating a system, a network, a culture, and Sharpe, whether willingly or reluctantly, might be the key to unraveling it all.
I'll tell you, I don't know how much, I don't like to say things that I know unless I see it. That there's a little difference, you know. But was it discussed? Was there descriptions from people I know that were at those? Yes, but here's another thing. So how many of these big entertainment parties and over the years and everything, with as successful as you are, have you been around? Does anyone ever come up to you at a certain hour and say, okay, it's time to go? At those parties, they did.
As the rumors swirl and the lawsuits pile up, one thing is clear. This story is far from over. If anything, it's just beginning. The connections between Sharpe and Diddy, the allegations against both men, and the broader implications for the entertainment industry are creating a storm that shows no signs of abating. And as the FBI digs deeper, the question isn't just who will fall, it's how far the fallout will spread. Because if Sharpe and Diddy are just the beginning, the secrets waiting to be uncovered could shake Hollywood to its very core.
No, I get it. So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head.
And just when you think the story can't possibly get darker, there's the looming shadow of Diddy's infamous gatherings, events that, from the outside, look like exclusive celebrations of wealth and success, but are now being recast in a far more sinister light. These weren't just parties, they were something else entirely. They carried a reputation among insiders as unpredictable, wild, and secretive, with a guest list that read like a who's who of the entertainment world. But the lawsuits and allegations now reveal a much uglier side to these nights, one that goes far beyond indulgence and into the realm of manipulation and control.
That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, you...
Take, for instance, the allegations from one high-profile lawsuit that has sent shockwaves through social media. The plaintiff, a man who bravely stepped forward to recount his harrowing experience, painted a picture that's almost too grotesque to believe. He claims he was coerced into humiliating acts while being paraded in front of some of the biggest names in Hollywood. Imagine this, a house full of A-listers, some laughing, some uncomfortably looking away, while a man stands in the center of the chaos, stripped of his dignity, all under the alleged command of Diddy himself. It's the kind of claim that sounds like a scene from a dystopian novel, except it's now sitting in court documents for the world to see.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me.
But what about those A-listers? The ones alleged to have been there witnessing it all. Names like Jay-Z, Beyonce, and LeBron James have surfaced in whispers, though none have been accused of any wrongdoing. The question isn't what they did, but what they didn't do. Did they turn a blind eye? Did they know what happened behind closed doors and choose silence over confrontation? And if so, why? These are the questions that have fueled a firestorm online, with fans and critics alike wondering how such powerful figures could stand by as such allegations take center stage.
It was just an escape for me. I was just young, like everybody in the industry and people in the world who experiment and do.
And then there's the case of Justin Bieber, whose name has been dragged into the mud by association. Bieber, a former protege of Diddy, is now reportedly distancing himself entirely. He's unfollowed Diddy on every platform, and sources close to him say the mere mention of the music mogul leaves him visibly uncomfortable. One particularly unsettling story involves a video of Diddy describing a weekend spent with a young Bieber, calling it a dream scenario for a teenager, but purposefully leaving the details vague, cryptic, and frankly unnerving. Bieber has made no public statements, but his recent behavior, his withdrawn demeanor, his sudden outbursts, and his own struggles has led many to speculate about the weight of what he might be carrying.
Have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that because the man card means everything.
It's not just Bieber. Terrence Howard, in a separate interview, hinted at the darker underbelly of Hollywood's party culture, describing certain events as places where people lose themselves, where they compromise their morals, their autonomy, their very essence. Though he avoided naming names, the timing and context of his comments have fueled speculation that he, too, might be alluding to the same circles.
Card?
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying.
Terrence Howard's comments didn't come out of nowhere. They were delivered with the kind of weight that only someone who has seen too much can carry. And while he didn't name Diddy outright, the insinuations were impossible to ignore. Howard spoke candidly about the pressures of conforming in Hollywood, describing a culture that rewards silence and punishes resistance. He mentioned how many actors and musicians find themselves at crossroads, where attending the right parties or aligning with certain figures can make or break careers. But what really caught attention was his assertion that once you give up your principles in this industry, there's no coming back. You lose your manhood, he said, a cryptic but heavy statement that left little room for misinterpretation. What's more, Howard didn't stop there. He recounted moments when he felt personally targeted by figures of power, individuals who he claimed approached him with offers that weren't just about work, but about loyalty, compliance, and submission. While he declined to elaborate in detail, Howard suggested that his refusal to play along had cost him dearly in Hollywood. Projects evaporated, opportunities slipped away, and doors that once seemed wide open were slammed shut. It's a tale as old as the industry itself. Those who won't play the game are sidelined. But Howard's story, told in his own words, adds a chilling new layer to the narrative. It suggests that the parties in question weren't just about networking, they were about control.
Now you know to be hands-off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman. You know, when you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're gonna get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept.
Adding fuel to the fire, Howard hinted at witnessing behavior that left him deeply uncomfortable. "I've seen things," he said in one interview, his voice trailing off in a way that only deepened the intrigue. He described environments where the lines between professional and predatory became disturbingly blurred. Though he stopped short of naming specific events or individuals, his anecdotes painted a picture of an industry where power dynamics are exploited to their fullest extent. And while Howard has largely stayed out of the spotlight in recent years, his words have resurfaced in the wake of the allegations against Diddy, sparking renewed interest in his claims. What makes Howard's perspective so compelling is the fact that he's no stranger to controversy himself. His career has been marked by highs and lows, from award-winning performances to public battles with studios and co-stars. But his willingness to speak out, even in veiled terms, sets him apart in an industry that thrives on secrecy. Whether he intended to or not, Howard has become part of the larger conversation surrounding Diddy's alleged misconduct, adding his voice to a growing chorus of those who are finally exposing the darker side of Hollywood's glitzy facade.
The stuff. Are you done with Hollywood because of this specific
I'm
reason?
I'm still working. I still, I haven't made the money necessary to do all of the other stuff. So I still have to go and do the chitlin circuit. I still have to do the job that I need to. But eventually, I've done what I set out to do, which was to redefine the universe. I've proven what I've set out to do, and that's why I have all the patents, whether they evaluate it or not.
And what about the victims? The lawsuits describe scenarios that sound like nightmares. People allegedly lured in with promises of opportunity only to find themselves trapped in situations where their choices were stripped away. One plaintiff described waking up in an unfamiliar place, disoriented and terrified, only to realize they had been pulled into something far beyond their control. Their stories are heartbreaking, not just for what they endured, but for the sheer scale of it. These aren't isolated incidents. They are part of a larger pattern, a culture of secrecy and silence that has allowed this behavior to flourish unchecked.
To not be involved with a famous singer, to not come out, here's the price. And that they're just selling to the individuals that are in those. This is what I heard. They're selling those videos. So if you're Tommy X, and Tommy X is a big, big movie star, and he was at some of the Diddy parties, he was in one of those bedrooms with 3 other men, and he's happily married to a woman, and blah. Tommy doesn't want that video to come out.
Diddy, for his part, has denied everything, calling the allegations baseless and vowing to fight back. His legal team has gone on the offensive, dismissing the lawsuits as cash grabs and pointing to inconsistencies in the plaintiff's stories. But even as Diddy digs in his heels, the tide seems to be turning against him. The sheer number of allegations, combined with the bravery of those stepping forward, is creating a groundswell of support for the victims and a growing impatience with the industry that enabled this behavior.
I don't know this, but it just seems very suspicious when you go through and you look at in the history of different people that can make you go away if listen, I've worried about some of the things that I talk about on my show.
And speaking of enablers, let's not forget the broader machinery of Hollywood. How many people knew what was happening at these gatherings and chose to stay silent? How many publicists, assistants, and managers played their part in maintaining the illusion of glamour while hiding the reality? The entertainment industry has always had its secrets, but this feels different. This feels systemic. And as more stories come to light, it seems increasingly likely that the fallout will extend far beyond Diddy and Sharpe. What's truly chilling is the implication that this might just be the tip of the iceberg. The lawsuits, the testimonies, the rumors, they all point to a culture of impunity, where the rich and powerful act without fear of consequences. And while Sharpe's alleged cooperation with the FBI adds a new dimension to the story, it also raises uncomfortable questions about his own role. Is he a whistleblower, trying to make amends for his silence, or is he simply saving himself at the expense of others? Either way, his rumored involvement could be the crack that shatters the facade of invincibility surrounding Diddy and his empire. And what happens next? That's the million-dollar question. Will Sharpe's alleged testimony be the key that unlocks the floodgates? Will more victims step forward, emboldened by the growing momentum? Or will the machinery of power and influence once again close ranks, protecting its own at the expense of justice? One thing is certain, the story is far from over, and the stakes have never been higher. So what do you think? Is this the beginning of the end for Diddy and the culture he represents? Could Sharpe's rumored testimony finally bring accountability to an industry long shrouded in secrecy? Or is this just another Hollywood scandal destined to fade away without real consequences? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one. Is this the beginning of the end for Diddy and the culture he represents? Could Sharpe's rumored testimony finally bring accountability to an industry long shrouded in secrecy? Or is this just another Hollywood scandal destined to fade away without real consequences? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.